tiles. This is a way to create two-dimensional grid layouts that can be either horizontal and vertical, and you can nest as many levels of tiles as you want. Here we see a rather simple tile where we have the left part is one big box and the right part is several smaller boxes. So let's just jump right into the code editor. Here we have all our boxes with paragraphs inside. The first have a very long paragraph. So to establish a context of the tile, we need to add a div tag with the class tile, and the modifier class is ancestor. This should wrap around all the items that you want to put inside of your tile, like so. Now we want to create this first box as our left side as one of the tiles, so we add the div with the class tile, and then also the modifier class is parent. This will provide the right padding. Then on the box itself, we'll also add the class tile, and the modifier class is child. Finally, we also need to set the size of the parent. It can be anything from 1 to 12, like the grid. So for this example, we wanted to take up half of the width, so we add the modifier class is 6. Let's save this and take a look in the browser. Select the right tab and refresh. Now we see that we have our first tile to the left, and the rest just follows along in the horizontal way. So let's go back and continue. For our next half of the tile, the right side, we want to wrap all these elements in a new div tag with the class tile, and we'll give it the modifier class is vertical, since we want these to be aligned vertically, so they will stack on top of each other instead of be on the same line. So let's just save this and go back and take a quick look, refresh. Now we can see that they stack on top of each other because we use the modifier class is vertical. So next we want to define our first parent, which should be this first box. So we add a div tag with the class of tile, and the modifier class is parent. Once again, is parent. That class adds the correct padding, so the spacing between the tiles, and on the box itself we add the classes tile, and the modifier class is child, which will add the border and the padding inside of the border. So let's take a quick look and go back and refresh. Not much have changed, but now we have this top box element here specified as the parent. Let's quickly go back and see what the final result should look like. As we can see, we have the left side finished and the top of the right side. So we still need to fix the bottom 3. Back in our code editor, we will scroll down and then we'll establish a tile around the last 3 elements. So we add a div tag with the class tile. And we'll close this div tag again. Then we'll add the parent around this box. So we add the div tag with the class tile, and the modifier class is parent. Like so, just indent it. And let's go back and take a quick look. I'll refresh. Now we see that these are horizontal again. Let's just check the final example here. So we can see that we need to set the size of this, and we need to have the 2 last boxes be vertical again. So let's go back into our code editor here. We'll now wrap these last 2 boxes in a div tag with the class tile, and the modifier class is vertical, and we'll set the size on these with the modifier class is 5. so we don't need to set the size up here. Then we will just indent this code like so. And we also need to wrap these two elements with its own div tag with the class tile, and the modifier class is parent, so we get the right spacing between the tiles. So like so. Now that we have that, we need to add to these three boxes, we need to add the tile class and the modifier class is child, so we get the right borders and padding inside. So let's go back now and refresh. Now we can see that we have our finished example. So we can see that we have this vertical context here with the top tile and the bottom tile, and the bottom tile consists of more tiles. That means it's nested. And then in our last tile here, we also have the vertical context again with two tiles inside. So you should go ahead and experiment with this. If you take a look at the official documentation on Bootstrap, you can see many more examples. Here we have one. If we scroll down, we can see that you can have many different examples, and you can put whatever content you want inside of it. 3 columns, 4 columns. So you should go ahead now and try to experiment with using tiles for creating two-dimensional layouts.